this war with Iran is inevitable. Might as well get it over with. Like that's accelerationism. Like that's a whole philosophy. I saw videos, and I don't know how accurate these were, but I saw videos that when they took out the leader of Hezbollah, there were people all over the Middle East cheering for that. Yeah, I've seen reports that people are tired of the regime in Iran, and Israel is saying, you know, that Iran regime isn't going to last as long as y'all think. So what the heck did they got up their sleeve, and what does that mean, and what are they going to next? And you know what I mean? Like they took out someone in their little presidential corridor, the ambassador. Like, what do you think they're capable of? They had
like a hotel bomb.
Yeah, it wasn't a hotel. It was on site. Like it was like the degree of penetration that Israel has. This is straight MacGyver, like Mission Impossible stuff that Israel is pulling off right now. What do you think is going to happen? How do you think it's going to escalate? You know? So I think this whole idea that like this is all Israel bad, oppressor, occupier, they have power, therefore it's like such a simplistic version of all this stuff. And again, I'm not saying that Israel is without any fault. Like there's fault. Their own soldiers took out their own hostages that were trying to come and be like, hey, white flag. So like there's been a lot of mistakes made, right? I think Bibi may be trying to do some of this to stay in power, or like, hey, here's our opportunity. Eliminate the enemy completely. Yeah. I don't know his motives. I don't know what he's trying to do. Is he really doing what's best for the people? The people are divided. Yeah. Everyone's not in Israel is not for this. People are divided. They're already pissed off that the hostages didn't get returned. Bibi might be trying to stay in power, and at the same time maybe see an opportunity like, hey, this is our shot. Let's wipe them all the way out. This war with Iran is inevitable. Might as well get it over with. Like that's accelerationism. Like that's a whole philosophy that people hold to.
And accelerationism isn't so much a movement as a concept. The basic gist, like I said at the beginning, is that if a system is doomed to fail, accelerating that system will help it fail faster. Exactly how you do that will vary on the system, but the goal is the same. Accelerate the system to the point that it can no longer sustain itself and watch it collapse.
It's like, hey, this is all going to hit the fan anyway. Let's just get it over with. And then the rest of us are like, wait a minute. Let's just get it over with. Can lead us to World War III, bud. Might want to slow your roll. You know what I mean? We don't want no more we don't want no American soldiers over there. We don't want American young people getting killed, Marines that I know. You know what I mean? So it's like,
how would this escalate to World War III? Because this is what I've heard a little bit, but how does that escalate to World War III?
If all of a sudden American soldiers are caught in the crossfire. Okay. Now that's an escalation of force. If all of a sudden our Americans decide to step in and not in a defensive manner for Israel, but in an offensive manner for Israel, now we have a declaration of war.
Meaning we're going to go into Iran and finish and take down the administration,
or drop somebody. Okay. Or take out their oil refineries, or take out their nuclear weapon sites.
And then who else gets involved because of that?
You got Russia telling Israel to chill. You could say Russia's fighting their own war with the whole Ukrainian thing. That's destroying them and taking out their resources. You got China that seems to be taking a non-pro-Israel stance. You got China that could potentially invade Taiwan right now. So
so it's not necessarily a bunch of people taking sides. It's just that like when there's war, it might escalate to where all the nations are like, well, everyone's in war right now, so let's go I'll go into Taiwan. Yep. We'll go finish off our Ukrainian war. We'll go. Is it Russia in cahoots with Iran?
Russia, Iran.
So they might be like, we'll send you
China,
some Russian folks,
some
Chinese folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So it could. Who knows? Who knows what it can. Hopefully, cooler heads prevail. But I mean, like, honest question. Those of you guys that are like,
we're gonna get our Navy SEAL boys in there.
Anti. Those of you guys that are like
to take care of us while we're sleeping.
Those of you guys that are anti-Israel. What would you do? Like straight up, like what would you do? Like you would just be like, oh, it's all good. Let's just hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Really? You think that's logical? I'm saying like really think about it from their perspective.
Yeah.
And if you see, most people can't do that. You know what I mean? And again, and you can give all this cope and all this empathy to the freaking radical terrorist. Yeah. But you can't extend any of that to Israel, who's like a small country of 9 million people in the midst of all adversaries, and they're just getting on good terms with their neighbors, and then all this stuff starts hitting the fan. Like,
Hezbollah has been planning to do in northern Israel what Hamas did in southern Israel on October 7th. Invade Israel, infiltrate civilian communities, and innocent civilians.
So if that's true, I'm going to assume he's not lying. But if that's true, what would you do? If the United States knew there was going to be the cartels that went over the border, had tunnels, can go into San Diego and take out civilians, what do you think the United States would do against those cartels?
That's a fact. Like, wow, the happening in Mexico. It's like, stop it.
Stop it, fam.
Yeah.
Stop it. You know, hey, them cartels over there, bad guys, terroristic. They hurt their own people.
Just for cartel.
Hey, we got to wipe them out once and for all.
Yeah.
And you know what? Unfortunately, we're going to do our best, but unfortunately, it's possible that like some civilians are going to get hurt, and that's sad and that's tragic.
Yeah.
But America's going to do what America got to do. That's what's going to happen.
Wow.
And pretending that that's not what's going to happen is silly. Okay, real quick, I need you to know about something that is going to expire October 11th, and I don't want you to miss it. As we come out of a tumultuous and divisive election season, it is my heart that we can be the hands and feet of Jesus and live a life that blesses God. And that is why we are having the first ever in-person Bless God Summit, the solution to the culture war. To not just be Christians who are reactionary to whatever is going on, but to live a better story and build better culture. And to be the solution to the culture war, I've brought in some of your favorite YouTubers, podcasters, speakers, and apologists to equip us by speaking at this 3-day event. This isn't going to be like the typical Christian conference, as we'll be doing something that is interactive, social, and giving us an opportunity to connect with each other and some of the speakers and performers. And this is all happening March 27th, 28th, and 29th at the beautiful Westin Spa and Resort in Carlsbad, California. The good news is we got the prices down to the bare bones to make sure that our day one supporters can get a bit of a discount so you can bring your whole family. Now, the bad news is this price is only available until October 11th. So don't miss the best time to get your tickets and go to blessgodsummit.com now.
Sure that Hezbollah can never carry out such an attack. And in order to enable all 60,000 Israelis to safely return back to their homes in northern Israel, the IDF is taking action. Hezbollah plan to launch their October 7th from villages across southern Lebanon, where they have been building up their arms capabilities and forces for the last 2 decades. Hezbollah also dug tunnels under homes in these villages close to the border with Israel. Tonight, we are declassifying a series of IDF operations conducted since the beginning of the war, aimed at dismantling Hezbollah's infrastructure and capabilities in the area of the Israel-Lebanon border, as part of our efforts to make sure that the residents of northern Israel can return to their home in safety. And
so a lot of people don't know that there's like 60,000 residents in northern Israel that are displaced because of the tensions with Hezbollah on the northern side of the border.
Wow.
Again, what would you do? You know, what would you do? Go ahead.
Yeah.
security without the threat.
Pause it. And so here's the flip side to this. Like, here's the flip side to this is bad assumption, Ruslan, this guy lies through his teeth. So what you're really saying is Israelis are just these bloodthirsty animals that just want to just be in war all the time with people. You see how like any way you twist this, like someone is overgeneralizing. And in my opinion, like if that's your position, they're just all these bloodthirsty animals that just want to kill everybody around them. That sounds pretty disgusting and nasty, you know, versus like, hey, maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe they really have evidence of this stuff. Maybe it actually costs them way more to do all this than it does to reward them, right? Like their economy is on the brink of collapse. This is not good for business. What's good for business is maintain the status quo and let's get everybody to back to tourists, because that's where the bread is at. Tourists and our tech sector. Yeah. This doesn't serve them well.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. There's no tourism happening right now.
No one's going to Israel right now.
The series we went to do in Israel is not happening.
Yeah.
Of Hezbollah on their doorstep. During these operations, IDF special forces entered into Hezbollah compounds in dozens of locations along the border with Israel, collected intelligence, dismantled Hezbollah's weapons and infrastructures. Our soldiers...
This is actual footage of them sneaking in?
Entered Hezbollah's underground infrastructure.
Yeah, they found their tunnels. The same tunnels that were in Gaza, they found the same tunnels connected to Israel in the northern side of the border.
Exposed Hezbollah's hidden weapon caches and seized and destroyed the weapons, including advanced Iranian-made. Overall, IDF soldiers exposed and dismantled over
footage?
700 Hezbollah terror assets during this
Throw up the drone when you're going to blow up these tunnels. That's fire.
Everyone is in the race for PR right now, by the way. So there's a component
There's always
of PR,
a cameraman. There's always a videographer.
Absolutely.
A freelancer.
Absolutely.
Just on his grind. He's got a new DJI drone and a Sony ZVE1. Just like ready to rock.
And there's a lot more work to do. Tonight, I will declassify details of 3 of these special operations. This is the village of Misl Jabal. It is a Lebanese village close to the border with Israel, only a few hundred meters away from the Israeli city of Kiryat Shmona. Since the beginning of the war, the majority of over 20,000 residents of Kiryat Shmona had to evacuate their homes after coming under fire from Hezbollah's relentless attacks. We have operated against hundreds of terrorist targets embedded inside Misl Jabal, which directly threatened the city of Kiryat Shmona and the wider northern region. Many of the Lebanese residents of Misl Jabal have left the area due to the Hezbollah terror activities. As part of this operation, we collected intelligence on this house, on the edge of the Lebanese village, near the border with Israel, which you can see here. The house was used by Hezbollah who dug underground infrastructure below it. This combat infrastructure was used by the terrorists to store weapons and was planned to be the preparation area for Hezbollah before attempting to invade Israeli territory.
Maybe he's making it all up. I don't know. But it sounds like there's some validity to these claims. This sounds like this is exactly what was happening with the tunnels in the south. And
that's crazy.
You know, how much of this stuff is going to escalate. Hopefully it doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.